Hey guys, Miss Smart checking in here with the English 1020 students to talk a little bit about what you can expect with our online classes the rest of the semester, and also what you need to know about your final research paper and your upcoming multiple sources essay, also known as the synthesis essay. Okay, first I want to tell you that I miss you guys and I hope you're well. I hope you're healthy, and I hope that you're very motivated to learn online, because it takes a lot of motivation and dedication to succeed with online classes. I want to stress to you the importance of making sure that you log on several times a week and that you're in those weekly modules, checking to see what assignments are due that week, and also making yourself very aware of all deadlines. That's one thing that you need to do to be successful in online classes, is to make absolutely certain that you are logging in several times a week and checking the modules and making sure, like, okay, yes, I see what's coming up. I see what's due. This is what we're doing next week. Check all the modules from week 8 through week 13 to see what's upcoming. Okay. Also, I want to tell you that it is essential that you are doing the required readings. It is essential to your success. It is essential to writing a good paper, that you are studying your textbook to understand how to construct a multiple sources essay and a final research paper, especially chapters 4 and 5. If you are not in those chapters reading and studying how to write an explanatory synthesis, to write an argumentative synthesis, if you're not checking that out, I don't really know how you can write a successful research paper. Okay, now I want to talk to you about how the research paper, so just let me reiterate. I know that the teacher does a little more of the heavy lifting for assigned readings, because she talks about them in the classroom, right? And we bounce ideas off of each other. And you can ask questions. You can have anything clarified. Sometimes, a lot of the time, students kind of shirk their reading responsibilities and don't exactly do the required readings, because they're like, Miss Smart's going to cover that in class. Or, well, I might skim it a little bit. Don't do that with online learning. You have to be in that textbook. You have to be in all those resources in pause, studying yourself, because Miss Smart isn't there to break it down for you and to say, okay, this is what this week's reading was about, blah, blah, blah. You're having to do a little more of the heavy lifting. Of course, I'm going to be posting videos. I'm going to be posting PowerPoints. I'm going to do things to help you solidify what the lessons are in your textbook, what you're supposed to be, the main points that you're supposed to be taking away in your textbook. However, you're going to have to do more of the heavy lifting. You have to be in that textbook studying, especially chapters 4 and 5, which is how to write the papers that you have coming up. Okay, which brings me to your synthesis essay, also known as the multiple sources essay. Okay, we are writing our research paper in stages to make it more manageable for you. Okay, but remember what I said when this semester first started. You actually should have been writing your research paper this whole entire semester. Brainstorming topics, doing research, establishing a good research question, which will lead to a working thesis and then a final thesis. You should have been writing your research paper already. And if you have been, then you already are well on your way to your synthesis essay. I'm just going to call it synthesis from now on, but it's synonymous. Multiple sources essay, synthesis, same thing. Okay, so your synthesis essay is due April the 17th. I'm reading from my notes. I'm not ignoring you. I'm reading my notes. It's due April the 17th, and that is basically half of your research paper. And here's how. Because you will be writing on the same topic for your synthesis essay that you write on in your research paper. The synthesis essay will be its own entity. It's going to have its own intro, its own body paragraphs, and its own conclusion. So don't think, oh, I just write half my research paper for the synthesis essay and then I write the other half. No, it's not like that. The synthesis essay is its own full entire essay, but you are only required to use 4 sources for this essay. So the synthesis essay is 4 to 5 pages with 4 sources. That's how it's half of your research paper. Then you're building onto that paper to write your final research paper, which is 8 pages. 8 to 10 pages, see, so it's twice as much, and 8 sources. So what you're doing is basically you've written this great synthesis essay, you've got these 4 powerful sources, and it's a pretty solid paper, right? That's what we're hoping anyway. Then once you finish that paper, you said, I could really expand on this by blank. Whatever that blank is, that's how you're going to finish this research paper. It may be to conduct personal interviews. It may be to do focus groups. It may be and if guys, you can do personal interviews via email if that's the way you want to go. I have one student that has asked me just this morning if he could do his research paper on the yellow fever epidemics of Memphis. Yes. And if you know a good history teacher that's kind of their thing, you could email that history teacher your questions and incorporate that into your research, right? Okay. So the way that, just to recapitulate on how your synthesis essay is half of your research paper, is that you're going to write a really good, solid research paper incorporating multiple sources for your synthesis essay. Then you will be expanding on it, filling in any gaps of your research, and thinking of ways that you could make your argument bigger or fuller. And that is how it becomes your final research paper. It's not that you write half of your paper and then you wrap it up in the research paper. No, it's 2 separate papers, but it's writing your final research paper in stages, okay? So because the synthesis essay is 4 to 5 pages, 4 sources, with the research paper, building on that, incorporating 4 more sources, and writing 4 to 5 more pages. Email me with any questions about that. Okay, so let's look at how we're writing this, how the stages are going to go. First, I'm reading my notes again. I'm not ignoring you. First, your working thesis. Now, this is your working thesis. This is not your final thesis. Remember, we've talked about what a working thesis is this semester. Your working thesis and your research proposal and your, that's due on April the 12th. Let's see. Let me pull my notes over here. Yes, your working thesis, your research proposal, and your bibliography, which your bibliography is a list of the sources that you're using. Those are all due on April 12th in one document, okay? And there are plenty of resources that I posted for you, and I'll be here, guys. I'm going to be here making sure that you understand what these assignments are exactly, okay? But you have a working thesis, research proposal, and a bibliography that's due on April the 12th on your research topic. Next, what you turn in next, and then you're using those things. The reason that you've got a bibliography going on is because you need to be reading those sources and figuring out how you're going to use them in your research papers, meaning the synthesis essay and then your final research paper. So you're reading and figuring out how you're going to use those sources in writing those 2 papers. So you need to have them laid out in, okay, this is the one I'm using for this, and this is the one I'm using for this. This is how I'm going to, this resource is a good nod to the opposition, but this says exactly what I need it to say to help me with my purpose of my research paper. Okay, so all that, those things, the working thesis and the research proposal and the bibliography, those are all due April the 12th in the Dropbox. which will be hyperlinked for you in the weekly module. So all you do is click and then it goes right over there. That's what I did over extended break. So I'm pretty proud of what I've done with our online courses and getting our modules ready for to be user friendly for you. Okay, so that is due April the 12th. Right behind that, your synthesis essay is due April the 17th. I'm looking at my notes. That, like I said, that's 4 to 5 pages, guys, 4 sources. Hopefully, you've been working on your research paper this whole semester, like I told you to. So you probably have a good chunk of those 4 to 5 pages written already. Sure you do. Okay. If not, better start on that. Okay. So that is due April the 17th. And then right behind that is your final thesis. Because once you've written your 4 to 5 pages and your 4 sources, your working thesis should have developed into your final thesis for the bigger project of your research paper. So your final thesis and your outline for your research paper, that is due April the 20th. Right behind that, the rough draft for your final research paper is due April the 24th. Your final draft of your final research paper is due April the 29th. So basically, guys, you have just a little over a month to write this research paper, to complete this big research project that you've been working on all semester. Okay, now moving on. Besides these last 2 major papers that you have left, the synthesis essay and the final research paper, and those things that go with it, the working thesis, the proposal, the bibliography, the final thesis and outline. Other than those assignments, you really only have 2 quizzes left and 4 discussion posts. Okay, so I'll be tweaking modules 9 through 13 a little bit, maybe here and there, but it's kind of, if you get in there and look in your weekly modules of learning, week 8, week 9, week 10, right underneath the table of contents, it's pretty much laid out how it's going to be with some minor tweaking I might do here or there. Okay, don't forget that I'm here 24/7. I'm here to answer any questions. I'm here to walk you through this online learning every step of the way. Don't hesitate to reach out to me with any questions or concerns that you may have or suggestions. If we do have any not face-to-face, but if we have any meetings where we all come together online, such as Zoom or Microsoft Team meetings, you will always get an email about that. Other than that, read. Do those required readings. I honestly don't know how you will be successful structuring a synthesis essay or final research paper without reading everything you were supposed to read up to this point, and without reading especially chapters 4 and chapters 5. Okay, so I just wanted to touch base with you. That's where we are. Stay healthy, stay safe. Talk to you guys later. Bye.